Hey everybody, my name is Mundane Matt, and I read a lot of conspiracy websites. I just happen to find it interesting, usually more interesting than the news, because I believe that a lot of these are founded in pure imagination, and if Willy Wonka taught me anything, that's pretty fucking awesome. So I like to read these things, and I came across an interesting article today on a website called MoorishHarem.com, whose tagline is refining the taste of men, if you will. That's what they call themselves. It's a little crazy if you ask me, but all right, fine. And they published this article today, which apparently they took from another site called Son of the Pyre, or Sons on the Pyre. My mistake. And I guess that's an experimental rock and electronica site. Who posted this story a while back about a 1500-year-old Bible that apparently is written by Barnabas, who was one of the 12 disciples, and it's called the Gospel of Barnabas. And I guess according to this Bible, it shows that Jesus was not crucified. In fact, it was Judas Iscariot who was crucified. Jesus just straight went to the cave, came out 3 days later, and was like, "Fuck y'all, I'm out." And then he ascended to heaven. Right? That's kind of what it says. And that like really that Jesus was not the Son of God, but a prophet like Muhammad, and in fact actually prophesized the Muhammad himself coming out 700 years later. So you have to kind of like ask yourself, like, what the fuck is going on? Like this book is kind of all over the place here. This book is basically kind of shits on everything Christianity has been preaching for a very, very, very long time, and it more actually kind of lends itself to the ideology that Jesus wasn't really Christian. Jesus was kind of like he was Islam, right? And if you granted, if you look at like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, they come from a lot of the same foundations, right? Their whole background comes from a lot of the same points. So it's not hard to kind of differentiate points between the three. That being said, I'm not a religious scholar. This is going off what I know of just general knowledge that's been given to me. So if I am mistaken, I'm sure one of you out there will tell me. But this article is interesting because again, I don't really believe anything in it. I just find it to be fascinating that it exists. So it goes on to say that in a report by the National Turk that the Bible itself was seized from a gang of smugglers in a Mediterranean area operation. It also says that the gang was charged with smuggling antiquities, illegal excavations, and the possession of explosives. All of those things I want to know more about. Like, what is it that? What was the smuggling antiquities? What were they trying to find? That's a very hotbed right there, very large hotbed of religious artifacts. So, like, what else did they find? Was it the Shroud of Turin? Where they find all these other things? You know what I mean? What else? And they said that that this book itself is valued at about 40 million Turkish liras, approximately $28 million US. And so that's currently where the book is at right now. As for the authenticity of it, the report says that religious authorities in Tehran insist that the book is original, that it itself was written with gold lettering in Aramaic on loosely tied leather. It says that it kind of like contradicts the New Testament's teaching of Christianity. Well, last time I checked, the New Testament wasn't that pretty much just kind of like rewritten by King James, fucking had that shit commissioned like after the Crusades. So after all that shit went down, you know what I mean? Like to me, again, contradiction over contradiction in terms of how the shit plays out. But again, interesting story nonetheless. And so right now, apparently, according to this report, the Catholic Church wants in on this action. The Catholic Church wants to inspect this for themselves, as I'm sure any religious organization in the world would like to inspect this for themselves. The Vatican just seems like it's the most like I don't want to say evil because I don't know if that's the right word, but it's kind of like the largest conglomerate that's interested in this. Which then, of course, the way that my imagination gets working, how I feel that the Bible itself is just a series of stories, morality tales that are meant to kind of like inspire people to just not be, I don't know, fuckheads, and except it does the exact opposite in a lot of cases. Again, a lot of this comes from just pure imagination. Willy Wonka whole thing again with that. And so I look at this and I'm like, man, what if the Vatican, like, what if the Vatican knows that all of this is bullshit, right? What if the Vatican knows that all of, these religious artifacts come out that really said like Jesus, his real name was like, I don't know, like fucking Ahmed, right? And he was like not a prophet, not a carpenter. He was like, he gave the kids pony rides around town and just happened to like mumble off some ideas and shit, right? Like just that whole thing. Also, like in the movie The Man from Earth, which was about a 14,000-year-old Cro-Magnon man that just never died, and he basically says that he met Buddha, and then from meeting Buddha, he kind of ended up over in the Middle East around that time period, and ended up kind of like trying to reteach the teachings of Buddha, and people thought he was Jesus Christ, and that's kind of where the whole thing came from, But like, what if? But back to the point though, what if these organizations, these religious organizations, like, they know that all this shit's bullshit, right? They know it's all fake, but every time something comes out that could possibly damage that belief structure, crack that whole story and bust it wide the fuck open, what if they take that shit and they suppress that shit, they hide that shit under lock and key because they don't want to lose their power? Now, to me, that seems more like an appropriate thing versus anything else. Anyway, this story is a little bit weird. I just kind of dug it. I just wanted to share it with you guys. Does the Gospel of Barnabas, is it true? Do you think that there might be any actual factual evidence to this that would, disprove Jesus being the Son of God, but merely just being a prophet? Which I would have a better time believing that than, homeboy made water into wine. Because come on, if you're a teenager and you can make water into wine, you're gonna be drunk all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get laid from bitches all the time because you're just like, hey, party trick everybody, woo, let's get fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna bring the food, you're gonna bring the wine, you're gonna be the life of the party. Why would you ever want to leave that, right? It doesn't. Yeah, no one's gonna be that much of a pariah. It's just not gonna happen. Because well, then again, doesn't it go from like ages 12 to 30 in the Bible? Like, there's 18 years of just shit we don't know about. Was that Jesus's Rumspringa? Is that kind of what that breaks down to? It was like this 18 years of him just fucking off, and then finally going like, all right, I got to get a job, got to cut my hair, shave my beard. All right, Dad, God, all right, I'm gonna go do it. Jesus, you know what I mean? Oh, I should write that in a book. It's Rumspringa by Jesus. Just 18 years of him fucking shit up, right? Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. My name, of course, is Mundane Matt, and I will see you all later. If you like the video, like it. If not, subscribe anyway, or whatever. It's all good. I'll see. Peace out.